Hi, welcome to TurtleBurger podcast. I do not know the episode number of this, maybe around episode 30 or so. Whatever the description says will be the correct one. Today is January, I don't know what today is, January 11th, it's Wednesday, 2023. I'm just going to say this very quickly. Otherwise, we won't get through this. The last time you saw me was Vlogmas Christmas Eve. And then I disappeared. And I didn't really disappear. But on Christmas Day, we lost our son, Burger. And it's been very difficult. And obviously I did not feel like recording. But now it's time to try to get back to a new normal. And this was something that podcasting is something I enjoy. And it's what I wanted to get back to. So that's where I've been. And it will still be difficult, I'm sure. So if I break out crying, I will try to edit as much as I can in the future. Anyway, okay. That's where I've been. So let's just get on with the podcast. I do have a few announcements. There was a brioche make-along happening. And I just quietly closed it down. There was only one entry in the finished object thread. So I, on Ravelry, messaged, actually both of these winners, I messaged them on Ravelry and just closed everything quietly. And the finished object winner was Yarn It Heidi. And the chatter thread winner was Dorothy, which was from a random drawing. It was post number 38, if I remember correctly, and they've already been sent their patterns, gifted their patterns. I was not sure I was going to do this, but I had already said I would. So there is, I have not opened any threads yet, but you can go retroactively back to January 1st if you have a finished object. And that is the sock stash along of 2023. Let's see, I am allowing whips that were under 50%. So basically, if you have one sock or less done, you can post those. Any size, any weight yarn. This will be a year-long make-along. There will be a chatter and finished object thread. There may or may not be prizes. Periodically I will try to go through and announce a winner from one or the other thread, or maybe both. I don't know. I just think it would be something to do. Everything will be linked below. Like any yarn that was in your stash prior to January 1st. Is accepted. Additionally, speaking of the description box, everything that I talk about in this episode, patterns, project pages, everything will be linked in the description. Also, this is kind of random. I wasn't gonna mention it, but I started a new channel. It is a Bible reading channel. Basically, I'm just recording my daily Bible verses and devotionals that I do. If you like to listen to someone read the Bible, I'm not inserting any opinions, anything like that, because I'm not a Bible scholar. I don't know. I just decided to start recording myself, and last night I posted the first one. So I will link that. It's called TurtleBurger Bible Reading. So I will link that new channel if that's something you're interested in. Okay, so I do have two finished objects. The first finished object I do not actually have because I went on a hunt looking for it, and we have since lost it. And that was a Watchman's Cap for little lady. She wanted a cap just like her daddy's, is what she asked for. And of course it had to be her golden yellow. So I used Knit Picks Brava worsted weight. It was in this color. I will insert a picture of it. I made the baby size. It was kind of small. It fit her the way she liked, but it blocked beautifully. It has already since been washed in the washing machine because she wears it all the time, which is part of why it's so upsetting that we've already lost it, but it's in the house somewhere. So that was the pattern I used, was Hill 60 by Galt House of Yarn. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I'm sure they have a website too. I haven't looked. That yellow color was the color Canary. I used a US size 7 4.5 millimeter needle, and it again, it's just a 2x2 ribbed Watchman's Cap. I will say that of the 3 that I've made, that was the best decreasing that I've made. So I was actually very pleased with it, but next time I will increase it. It's a multiple of 16, and the smallest size was casting on 80, and the next one was 96. So I think for kids, for her, and I want to make turtle one, will be the middle size, which is casting on 96. I actually wrote notes. That's what I keep looking down for. The next pattern or project I finished was my candy cane socks. I can only find one of my blockers at the moment, but I do have both socks made. I have not worn these. I don't know if they fit, to be honest. I'm over Christmas right now, and these will be going away until next year. But this is the Candy Cane Socks by Amanda Clark of Shutter Monkey Designs. I used, let's see, Knit Picks Muse fingering weight yarn, and I dyed it myself. This was their bare yarn, and I dyed it using Hawaiian punch and food coloring, and you can see the little candy canes in there. I used a US size 1 2.25 millimeter. I'm pretty sure I did a German twisted cast on. I worked them in tandem on 2 9-inch circulars. I did adjust the size to casting on 56, so it's smaller than is called for. I changed the cuff to a 2x2 rib. I did 3 candy canes instead of 4. I did I don't even know what her heel was. It may have been, I may have done her heel, but I'm not really sure. But I used a slip stitch heel flap turn and gusset. My foot length is 51 rounds, and from the last gusset decrease to the toe, and then I did a typical rounded toe, and both socks used 49 grams. So and if you've been following along with this particular yarn that I dyed, I do still have the yarn bar. I've just been winding off what I was able to. I believe that's it for that. And then I have 3 works in progress. The first one, I was working the Marie Schrader sock test. Obviously, I emailed her and told her I would not be able to complete that and offered to pay for the pattern. But Michaeli was very sweet about it and said, of course not. So I'm still making the Marie Schrader socks. This is out now as of January 2nd, I believe it came out, from Michaeli Marler of Breaking Yarn. Let's see. This yarn is Monarch yarn on Etsy in the color Violets. I am making the size small, which was 60 stitches. I did 2x2 Actually, I haven't made any modifications to this. So it was the size small, 60 stitches. I did however many pattern repeats she called for. She did an eye of partridge, heel flap, turn and gusset. And I am on the foot right now. And I'm undecided what I'm going to do because the toe she's using is the star toe. And I have a pair of socks, the Princess Cuff Shorties that I tested last, I think it was last summer, for Haxan Evers. And hers is not, she doesn't call it a star toe. She called it a hat trick toe, but it's very, very similar. And basically all you're doing is instead of Kitchenerring at the end, you're bringing your leftover yarn through the stitches and cinching it up like a hat. So I'm undecided if I'm going to do that or if I'm just going to insert the regular rounded toe that I know fits me. And so that is it for that. I also, if you have followed me apparently for the past year when I looked at Ravelry, almost a year, 11 months, I was working a toe up sock for my husband. I decided that seemed to be taking forever. So I ripped it out and I am working them cuff down. So I already have completed 15 rounds of one cuff and I've got 13 rounds of this cuff, so I've got 2 more left. And then I have not decided. I put this one on magic loop because I'm not sure if I'm going to end up just working them 2 at a time. I may do that and see how I like that. But these needles are a US size 1, 2.25 millimeter. The yarn I'm using is Huntington Valley yarns in the color blue. I have 2 50-gram skeins here. And so my plans for those is I have not decided yet if it's going to be a vanilla sock or during Vlogmas, Kay, the crazy sock lady, was having she had like half off of her patterns with a code that if you watched her Vlogmases you got. And so I bought 2 patterns from her, and one of them I believe is a 3x1 rib sock. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up doing that or just a vanilla sock, since this will be the first pair of socks for him. And on these also, I cast on 72 with this, so hopefully that will fit him. I'm not really sure. I think when I'm done with this cuff, since it's on magic loop, I can try this on him and see how it works. And the last work in progress I have is a crochet baby blanket. I have decided to start putting baby blankets in my Etsy shop. It has been badly neglected, and this is something, and I think part of the reason why is because I'm never sure about hat sizes and things with, you know, if it's going to be the way that it turns out to, or the way the pattern says it should turn out. So I figure baby blankets is a safe bet. So here is the first one. Actually, right now, this is the only one I have. It's just this is the Happy Colors Baby Afghan by Lion Brand yarn. It's a free pattern. The yarn I'm using is Bernat Baby Soft in the color lavender. And I am using an H5 millimeter hook. And as you can see, it's just a granny square blanket is all it is. The pattern actually calls for an I 5.5 millimeter hook, and I started out on that, but it just seemed so like little baby fingers would get caught in them, and I know our kids used to get their fingers caught in blankets, and it can be worrisome. So I went down a needle size or hook size because it's crochet. So here's this one. I have 20 rounds on it right now. It seems like typically patterns go to about 32 rounds before, and that's usually when they get to about a 31 by 31 size blanket. So that's the goal on that. and I will let you know when that is listed in the Etsy shop. My next blanket will actually be a knit baby blanket, which will be my first knit blanket ever. So, but it basically just looks like a large dishcloth, so shouldn't be too bad on that. And that is it. That's all I've been doing. For Christmas, I got some DK weight bear yarn to dye for sweaters, which I don't feel like doing right now, but I will. And I got some extra needles in a size 2mm, which is a size 0 for socks, just to play around with gauge a little bit. I got a 32-inch and I think a 32 or 40-inch cable on a 3.25mm needle. So that is today's episode. I don't know how frequently I will be doing these, but I hope you come back and join me for the next one. If you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, and I was going to say a like, but that is a thumbs up, isn't it? If you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do so, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.